Afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to my cabin workshop. Today I'd like to just show off a few of my old lanterns and different ways that I light this cabin up. Here are some of my lanterns. The one in the center I use the most. It's the easiest to clean and light. These three are quite old. They're antiques. I'm not exactly sure how old, but they go back to the early 1900s, especially the one on the end. It could even be Victorian, for all I know. But like I said, I use the one in the middle the most. It's the easiest one to clean. Before I show you how to light these lanterns, I'd just like to show you these old lanterns. I made these. These are made out of sheet metal. Basically, they're all spot welded together, all the bits and pieces of them. And this one in particular, you can get all different kinds of candle sizes in it. Of course, I picked the worst lighter to bring out. So yeah, like I said, you can put just about any size candle in that one. Nice safe way of burning a candle. There's holes at the top to let the heat out, because this does get quite hot, especially if you have a big candle in it. And this little one. Yeah, I use these quite often, mostly in the house. I made these quite a few years ago. I used them in my old Victorian house I used to own. They cast quite a lot of shadow in a room. If you just have these going, you'll get all kinds of shadows on the ceiling and the walls. They're just a nice, safe way to burn candles in the house. So yeah, the one on the left, I think I made that one in 1996. So it's been around a while. And this one, I think the little one was 2014 I built that. And I've been using them ever since. I think they're really cool. It's nothing like candlelight. It's relaxing. It's cheap, economical, safe under the right conditions. Gives you a nice atmosphere in the room. I'm also a big fan of lanterns, so we'll get to that next. But before we get to the lanterns, I just wanted to show off this. I made it. It holds a candelabra, candlestick, whatever you want to call it. It's just made out of simple wood. It looks period correct if you don't notice the Phillips screws holding it on the post. My Victorian house had these on the posts in the basement. A lot of cabins and old barns and houses had these. So anyways, let's light it. I'll try not to shake the camera too much. This is a little bit more of a dangerous kind of lighting. You have to be around, monitor it, keep an eye on it. Old cabins, houses, barns likely had a candle box of some sort or a way to store their candles. So I made this. Holds a box or so of candles that I can grab whenever I need them. It's a simple wooden box. Does the trick. And each one of these candles I buy them at the dollar store, so they come in a 5-pack. And each candle will burn 5 to 6 hours. So they're cheap. Here's another example of a candle holder on the wall. This one is placed here sort of on purpose. The candle is almost burned up, used up. But when I have a candle here, a new one, if I ever get this wood stove too hot, or hotter than it really should be, that candle will start to melt. So that tells me to back the stove off. Let's get on with lighting these lanterns then. They're quite simple to operate. So you'd fill them with your lamp oil. It's just a screw top. And to light it, basically take the shade off. The wick is all soaked in the lamp oil. So you just want to bring it up a little bit to light it. You have to sort of get the happy spot here, otherwise it'll just burn black soot and dirty up your shade. So yeah, you just want to get it to where you think it's good. Put your shade on. You'll be the first to know if you get it wrong, because your shade will just go all black. And you can adjust it somewhat to a certain point. Give off more lighting, less lighting. The less the better. Your shade will stay clean. And they're kind of fiddly ass to clean them. They're very easy to break. So the less cleaning the better. So I'll set this one aside. Now I'm not sure if this one will light, because I haven't used this in a long time. Probably a couple summers ago. I just put some oil in it. But anyways, we'll give it a shot. So this one's a little different. So you want to lift the shade up. And your wick is in there. Oh, did light up, good. Okay, so then you want to lower the shade. And this is the same idea. Just get it to where you want it to be, so you don't dirty up your shade. So let me tell you, the shade on this, to take this apart and clean it, is a pain right in the ass. You don't want to do that, trust me. So the longer you can keep this clean, the better. So you can adjust this. I keep it low so I don't dirty up the shade. Here's where you fill up your lamp oil, just screws in. Use a funnel, use a small funnel so you don't spill it all over the place. And that's it. Basically that's how it works. This one has a handle, but let me tell you, all of this gets really hot. You can't touch that later on. So you're better off to grab it from the side and carry it around. There is a longer handle. I find this still gets hot with your fingers right there. But you could kind of hold it from the side. If you have one, you'll figure it out. So this goes back to, I think, the 1940s, this lamp. 40s, 50s, somewhere around there. In a minute I'll show you a cheap Chinese knockoff that was a waste of $25 because it leaks. The seam around the tank, this is basically a tank for your fuel. It leaks out of the seam and just makes a mess, and it stinks, and it's a fire hazard as far as I'm concerned. So it was a complete waste of money. I can use that lamp outside, but not in a building. So I will show you that lamp in a second. So we'll move that over there. So here we go. Here's the cheap Chinese one. And it should have stayed in the store. It's complete garbage. Just leaks like a sieve out of here. There's no oil in it right now. The minute you put oil in it, slowly starts leaking out of the bottom. I mean, it works fine. Like, it works like a lantern, but it just leaks all over the place. Looks pretty. Looks cute, I guess. But it leaks all over the place. So I hardly ever use that. It's more of a decoration than anything. Waste of money is what it was. So yeah, they're there. They're going. Giving off a little bit of heat also. Staying reasonably clean. I mean, you can get a little bit more light out of this one, but if you push your luck, it'll start making things black. So you're better off to keep it around here. And if you were here reading a book, if the power was out, or just sitting here, this gives off enough light. You don't need the flame any higher than that. Same with this one. You can play with it a little bit, but don't overdo it. Like, there's fine. I would show you what it does with the black soot, but I don't want to clean this, so I'm not showing you. But so yeah, I enjoy these. These are a thing of the past. They're enjoyable though. They give off an atmosphere. They're cheap, economical. You can get these at a flea market, yard sale. It's not hard to find one. They even sell a newer version of these in hardware stores. I'm not sure how good they are. Trust me, the Chinese knockoff one was garbage, so these ones might not be any good either. You might be better off trying to find an antique one to purchase or get a hold of, because they work flawlessly. The wick you can still buy new. It's good quality. This one has a new wick in it. Never had any troubles with it. This one has an older wick in it. This one needs a good cleaning. Because I don't use it that often, everything's turned to like a gooey syrup in here, which makes it hard to turn the wheel. Like it won't turn right now actually. So it has to be taken apart and cleaned with a solvent. And while you've got it apart cleaning it, you might as well put a new wick in it, and then it'll work fine. Like, it'll go up and down just the same as this thing. They're a lot of fun. I was inspired to make this video by someone I've been watching recently on YouTube, Noel's Garden, Tractors, and Firewood. He has some lanterns in his garage, and he enjoys them. I believe he said one of them was from his mother's house, so it's quite an old lantern. I recommend getting one. They're a lot of fun. They're a thing of the past, but they're simple and fun. And safe, so long as you watch them, monitor them. Like, you wouldn't light this and walk away and leave it. You have to be reasonable and sensible with them. And basically that's it. And when it comes time to turn it off, basically you just do this. And it's off. It's as easy as that. This one here, you would lift the thing back up again and blow in there, and it'll blow out. I also forgot to mention, this is made out of quite old wood. Quite an old piece of lumber I used to make this wall sconce. So like I said, other than the Phillips screws holding it on the post, it looks quite period correct. A lot of old cabins and houses have these. In a minute I'll talk about my wood stove. I built the stove. I'll show you that stove in a few minutes. I just wanted to show you the temperature in the room. It's nice and comfortable. This is an uninsulated building. So this is my stove. I made it myself. It's made out of an old garbage can. Now inside I put fire brick, a little bit of sand, and there's a steel grate in there so it doesn't burn the bottom of it out, so it'll last longer. It's safe. You can only get a certain amount of wood in it. It can't get too out of control or too hot. And like I said, I've got the candle on the wall. If it starts to melt, then I know to back off on the wood. I can dampen the fire down as well. I have a damper on the pipe, but I'll show you inside. So as you can see, you can't get a whole lot of wood in it. So you can't get too out of control with it. It's enough heat to heat this little building. Even on the coldest day, I can get it up to 50 degrees in here, which is so for working on projects or hanging out. It's not an efficient stove. It drafts a little too well, so it burns through wood quite quickly. But as you can see, there's a lot of air gets in, so it just burns the wood up. But it works. It was an experiment. I'd like to someday get a nicer wood stove in here with a nice window so I can watch the fire. But I wanted to see if I could make this and see how it would work. And it's now going on the 3rd year. 0 problems with it. I've had quite a lot of wood in it, like its capacity, and it's never been dangerous. Got all kinds of clearance all the way around it. Got a tiny little flat thing on the top so I can put a kettle up there if I want to make tea or coffee. But like I said, eventually I'm going to get a nice cast iron stove with a nice window so I can view the fire. One thing I forgot to mention, anyone that hasn't watched my older videos where I've talked about this stove, because it was a garbage can and it was galvanized, anything that's galvanized is quite poisonous, especially to burn it. So what I did before I turned it into a stove, outside I filled it with wood 3 times and burned it. So I burned all the zinc coating off of the can. Every bit of the zinc coating was burned off this can before I painted it black and started using it as a stove. If you're going to do this project, you have to do that. You cannot have that zinc coating on there. It's quite dangerous. I got the idea for this stove from old moonshiners. They would take 2 garbage cans like this, double it up, and they would cover it with stone and mud or clay, and at the back their mash would be at the back, and that's how they'd heat up the mash. So I thought I'd build a stove that was sort of like that idea, only a little bit different. Would have that cabin kind of moonshine vibe to it. That's where I got the idea from. I'll insert a picture. It's hard to describe what I'm talking about. So yeah, this is a perfectly safe little stove. Like I said, you can only get so much wood in it. It can't get out of control. And besides the fact, this is an outbuilding. I don't know what your insurance company's like, but my insurance company only covers 10% of any outbuilding, unless it's a shop or some big fancy garage. They're only going to cover 10% of this little cabin. So as far as I'm concerned, there isn't an insurance company that needs to know about it, because they're not going to fix this building anyway. 10%, they're going to cover 10% of the cost. So if you're worried about your insurance company, you have a little cabin in your backyard and you want to put a wood stove in it, or in your somewhere on your property, do it. They don't need to know, and they're not going to cover the replacement cost of your building anyway. So do it. Do it safely though. So that just about covers all of the different kinds of lighting I use in this cabin. I have a more modern lighting system when I'm working on projects. I have LED, battery powered LED lighting in here. Thank you for watching this video, everyone. I appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I forgot to show you this. I purchased this. This is a reproduction. I purchased it at Lang Pioneer Village. That's in Keene, Ontario. And it's a reproduction of Pioneer wall sconce, I guess you'd call it. My tractor is taking a well-deserved rest in the tractor motel, and as you can see, a lot of the snow is gone. It is quickly melting, which is okay by me. Even out here, it's disappearing quite quickly. I bet this year the wetlands are going to be pretty high in water for a little while. There'd be a little bit of, not flooding, but high water back here until at least July with the amount of snow that we got. Water levels will be up this year back here. For a little while. Look at this, the pile of slabs from last year. These are all the short cut-off pieces. I can see it again. It was buried in snow for months. A lot of this stuff I'll probably cut up for firewood. It's not really good for building anything with it. I used all the good pieces. But there's some good firewood there. Good camp firewood. Right in front of a snowbank right now. There's still a lot of snow to go away though, but it's going. There's some more firewood that was buried. I can see it again now. It was completely gone a while ago, buried in the snow. Look at this. I can see my fire pit again. It's still there.